Forget a Mendoza, forget a Mateer, because Tua Tagovailoa is here. And when you get a confident Tua, you get a belt to ass, baby. Last game, Tua was benched because he was trash. This game, he was benched because he was unstoppable. And you got a belt to ass, baby. In the fourth quarter, Jalen Waddle had a nasty touchdown. And Kevin Harlan said, "What is going on?" Well, I'll tell you what's going on, Kevin. It's a belt to ass, man. FanDuel, the sponsor of today's video, had the Dolphins as 6.5-point underdogs to Kirko Chainz. 35-year-old old man Kirk Cousins, who hasn't played all season, highest paid backup in the league. For what? Zach Wilson did more in 2 series than Kirk Cousins did all game. Oh my God, we're back, y'all. We're back. What a game. What a game. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I am very glad I did not throw any money on the Falcons money line. I was about to be very unresponsible before the game and go on FanDuel and say, hey, if I'm about to sit through another Dolphins bore fest, might as well win some money along the way. I was going to throw a bag on Bijan rushing yards. I was going to throw a bag on the Falcons money line. I was going to throw a bag on Tua unders. But thank God I did not, because today the Dolphins shut all of that down. That defense, that defense today, it looked like they had 11 Davion Mitchells out there the way they were hounding everybody. Zach, Steeler it on up. Shout out my boy Brendan Tobin for that one. Shout out Dante Trader, my boy making up for past mistakes earlier this season. Shout out to Jordan Brooks. Shout out to Devon Achane and Ollie Gordon. Oh my God, I haven't seen a two-headed monster like that since LeBron and Wade. Wow, okay. Whew. I'm really getting carried away now. Yo, shout out to Visor Tua, bro. I was looking around the house to see if I had any sort of visor I was going to wear on my face. I do not. The other option was recording the whole video like this, and I felt that was kind of insensitive. Because if y'all didn't know, Tua played the whole game like this, like with the one eye swollen shut, because they said he had some kind of illness. He was questionable, and he ended up playing, and my God, did he play today. Listen, I want the high draft pick as much as the next guy, okay? But at the end of the day, I enjoy watching my team win. I do. And we all know that this is going towards another 7 or 8 win season for the Dolphins, because they're never just that bad. They're always mediocre. Even the year they tried to tank, they still won 5 wins, under Brian Flores. And that's when they ended up with Tua. If they would have lost more, they could have had Joe Burrow. But hey, that's what happens. The Dolphins always find a way to be mediocre. So I'm going to enjoy the wins when you get it, especially when you got an ass kicking like you did tonight. Very fun one, because from the start, we finally got our guy Kevin Harlan back, who deserves a statue outside the stadium, because they never lose when he's on the call. And unfortunately, they've been so bad this year, we haven't had to get him on the call. We weren't able to till today. They were finally good enough to be worthy of his presence. As we said earlier, Tua had the eye injury. You had Kirk Cousins in because Michael Penix was dealing with an injury. So I'll tell you this, my fantasy team, they suffered today a little bit, because I did have Bijan Robinson, and he was cheeks. But hey, I'd rather win the Dolphins game than win my fantasy week. Although I was playing Adam Barai, and if y'all know Adam, you would understand why I hate losing to him. He pulled some kind of black magic today, because he has Saquon first game all year where Saquon balls the hell out like he did today. Saquon literally outscored Bijan and McCaffrey, and I have both of them, because it's a 2-quarterback league. So my first quarterback was actually Tua. So obviously Tua did great. My second quarterback, I did pick up Kirk Cousins for today, because I thought he was about to cook us. So that's why my team suffered, because I got like 6 points between Kirk and Bijan. They did nothing, but who cares? Fun game. Going into the first quarter, a bit of an interesting start, because Mike McDaniel won the coin toss, as he always does. He's like the GOAT at winning the coin toss. Maybe that's why he hasn't been fired yet. Or maybe it's because he'll get these random wins like today that make the front office forget about the last 7 weeks. And this game alone extended his job security for like another year, which is ridiculous. But anyways, Mike McDaniel won the toss, but he actually deferred. He said, let me get the ball. We're going to go right down the field and make you play from behind, put some pressure on you. And that's not what happened at all. The Dolphins immediately went 3 and out. They netted like -7 yards on the first drive as Tua was sacked on 3rd down. And I didn't agree with not deferring. I didn't agree with accepting the ball. To me, it always makes sense. Defer to the second half. You have the chance for back-to-back possessions, at the end of the second quarter. But whatever. At first, it did not work out for the Dolphins. But then the Dolphins would also force Atlanta to go 3-and-out themselves. They kept talking about this vaunted Falcons secondary, or at least their pass defense was great. So I'm thinking, geez, if it's their secondary that's great, and Tua is already here getting sacked first play, the Dolphins are in for a long day. But, they, like I said, they traded 3-and-outs. But then the Dolphins would actually go on a nice drive. That's where Devon Achane would get his first touchdown. Today, I think he has like 30 touchdowns in 36 career games. He's a special talent, man. I heard some weird noise outside my door. Anyways, Devon Achane is a special talent, man. I hope the Dolphins can build a team around him. Same way I hope the Hurricanes can build around Malachi Toney. Because I know our football teams, have been inconsistent. But right now, the Hurricanes got a dominating win yesterday after a rough start. I was busy, so I didn't get to make a post game on it. But we do have some special players that I don't want to take for granted just as a viewer. Achane and Malachi Toney, they're some fun watches. So Achane will get the touchdown off a nice pass from Tua on that drive. Ollie Gordon started his great day, had some multiple tough conversions on third down, just running right up the middle, had a huge conversion on fourth down. That has been refreshing to watch this year. It's the first year in I don't know how many where I've actually felt kind of confident going to a short yardage situation, because in years past, they couldn't do it. It used to be Mike McDaniel throwing these dumb pitches to the outside or not running Jeff Wilson or whatever other big back they have. Took Mike McDaniel 4 or 5 seasons to finally figure it out, give it to Ollie Gordon, run up the middle, and Gordon's been great at that. So I'm glad they're taking advantage of their big back that they took in the draft. So Dolphins will be up 7-0 to start the first quarter, or to end the first quarter. They said another interesting stat that the Dolphins haven't given up a first quarter touchdown in like 5 weeks. I don't know if I heard that correctly, but insane if true, considering our 1-6 or whatever it is. But the Dolphins up 7-0 going into the second quarter. In the start of the second quarter, the Falcons would drive, but that's when Zach Sealer made a great play, stopped them on 31. He got a tackle for loss. It would force Atlanta to kick a field goal to make it 7-3. And I'm thinking, okay, we're in a little bit of a game today. At least the Dolphins aren't getting blown out from the jump. Both teams would end up trading punts. Although when the Falcons had the ball, I got hype. I thought Jordan Brooks had got a safety. He bust through the defensive line or the offensive line there, sacked the Falcons player like the 1 yard line. So Jordan Brooks had a nice play today, or a nice game today. That was the first great play. Noteworthy. The Dolphins would end up driving to kick a field goal of their own. They would go up 10-3. And on that drive, Cedric Wilson caught a pass. Even Westbrook Hines, caught a couple passes today. So nice to see those guys get involved after really not being used all season in Westbrook's case. And Cedric Wilson finally active. They signed him weeks ago for the injured Tyreek Hill, but then he was injured too. I just thought it was a dumb signing. But nice to see him play today, get a few catches. And then there was a couple of rough plays from Tua on that one, which is why they had to settle for the field goal. He had a pass that was tipped at the line of scrimmage. And then on the third down, he tried to throw a screen pass. That was tipped also. And I'm just wondering, if this is all just because Tua is too small. I wanted to address those comments he made in the press conference earlier this week where it was a weird comment, to say the least, where he said, sometimes I don't throw to Waddle because I'm not I'm not the tallest guy out there. I can't see over the O-line and I don't want to throw it blindly. Kind of a ridiculous thing to say, right? I don't want to rag on Tua, especially after a game like this, but what the hell are you going out there in the media saying that you're too short out there to throw to your best receiver? That's just stupid, right? You can't be a max player if you're openly admitting you're too short to throw to your best receiver. It's ridiculous. And sometimes you do see that on plays like this where on the same drive, he had to pass tips 2 times. And just in general, he can't throw a screen pass because he can never get it over the defensive rush on those. But anyways, like we said, Dolphins kick the field goal. They go 10-3. The Dolphins will force another 3-and-out. Jordan Brooks had a great sack on that drive as well. And that's when you really started to feel the momentum picking up for the defense, which all day they were just, what's they called, an amoeba, where you got like a bunch of guys playing as one. That's what the defense was today. I was stunned. I really was. Before the half, the Dolphins would get yet another touchdown to go up 17-3. You had Ollie Gordon again, breaking tackles, had a huge 3rd-and-3 conversion. The Dolphins were also bailed out on that drive. There was a face mask call after Achane lost like 4 or 5 yards. So they bailed out there, and they made up for it because Tua had an absolute dot to Malik Washington. That pass needs a stand. Let me put the belt down for a second. Standing ovation for Tua Tagovailoa. absolute dot to Malik Washington. Took the ball and threw it on a string to Malik, fading towards the pylon. Beautiful throw by Tua, the most confident he looked all season. He was decisive all day. He was getting the ball out quick, and that was a beautiful pass by Tua. And we don't get a lot of chances this year to kind of praise Tua, so when we do get the opportunity, I want to make sure that's done properly. Awesome throw by Tua to Malik. Going into the third quarter, both teams would trade 3 and outs. And then that's pretty much the last time the Dolphins were stopped all day. When the Falcons had the ball, Dotson had a fumble recovery. Bijan Robinson had the ball slip up. And then that's when Tua had the touchdown pass to Waddle to go up 24-3. Kevin Harlan said, "Kiss him goodbye." And then he said, "What is going on right now?" You kind of know your team sucks when you score a touchdown and the announcer says, "How the hell is this happening?" That's how you know it's kind of rough in Miami. But nice to have Kevin Harlan back on the call. Of course, I'm very nostalgic about those He's Got Hill days. Definitely my most fun times as a Dolphins fan in the last 15 years. I've been watching the team every game. But the defense was on fire from that point. Dante Trader had an excellent play on third down. Looked like the Falcons guy had a catch for the first down. Trader used his shoulder to knock the ball loose. Nice to see him bounce back because I'm still a little annoyed that he let McConkey get that far on that one drive versus the Chargers where Trader missed the tackle on that. But he made a nice play there. The Dolphins would also get a stop on 4th and 4. Everybody's going crazy. We'd go into the fourth quarter up 21 points. Then the Dolphins would get another touchdown. The whole drive, Gordon and Achane were unstoppable. This time it was Gordon who had a receiving touchdown, first one of his career. The blocking was so good. All drive, really all game outside of the first drive. Shout out to Savai Naya. He's starting to play well, so I'm at the point now I actually need to learn how to pronounce his name correctly because he's been decent. He had some nice blocks today. I'll give him that. So Gordon will get the touchdown. Then Dolphins will get another stop on 4th down. Unfortunate part is Storm Duck was carted off with a knee injury. Hopefully everything's okay there. Some rough injuries today. Saw Cam Scatterboo, who was quickly becoming one of my favorite players, like everybody else in the league. He was carted off today with a dislocated ankle. So you hope these guys are good. You hope Storm Duck is good. But the Dolphins, when they got the ball back, they'd get a field goal to make it 34-3. And then the Falcons put a little bit of lipstick on the pig. Algier had a touchdown late to make it 34-10. Which I believe was the final score. 34-10. So things are looking good in Dolphin land as of today. The box score is definitely a fun one to look at. After last game, Tua having the worst game of his career. I think he had like 100 yards. Today, Tua 205, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. Was only sacked 1 time. So first play of the game. Wow. So O-line really picked up after that. And then look at the distribution rushing. Because the Dolphins, they were like, I think they said bottom 5 in rushing attempts per game. But today you had 18 carries for Achane, 67 yards, 10 for Gordon, 46 yards. Even Jalen Wright, who was inactive a few games this year, had 9 carries himself for 28 yards. And then receiving, Jalen Waddle, 99, Malik, 34, Achane, 34, Gordon, 20, Westbrook, Akine, 18. So really spread the ball all around today. And then, of course, on the defensive side of the ball, you had Jordan Brooks with your only sack of today. But there was a few tackles for losses across the board between Sealer and Brooks as well. So very fun box score today. They somehow held down the typically high-powered Kirk Cousins to 173 yards. And Bijan, 25 rushing yards. Wow. My boy Khalil was at the game today, and he was like, because he was in Atlanta for other reasons, and he's like, it sucks. The one time I'm at a road game, it's when the Dolphins are terrible. And I said, hey, at least you're going to get to see the record for most rushing yards in NFL history. We thought Bijan was going to rush for like 300. He rushed for 25, and the Dolphins defense deserves a ton of credit for that. Should mention, the Falcons had no Drake London, so they were not only missing Penix, they were missing London as well. So they were a little banged up, and who knows how fraudulent they are. Maybe they're on fraud alert as well. It's hard to forget the game earlier this season where they lost 30-0 to the Panthers, where especially when the Panthers today, mind you, they got smoked by the Bills 40-9. So the Bills beat the Panthers 40-9, and the Panthers beat the Falcons 30-0. What does that say about the Dolphins beating the Falcons? I don't know. I don't want to take credit away from the Dolphins' performance today. Even though I did see some. What did James Cook end up finishing with? 216 rushing yards on the Panthers. I don't know. It's just weird when you see a team like the Panthers get torched today by the Bills, and that's the team that beat the Falcons, and that's who the Dolphins also torched today. So maybe this game is just the Falcons not being as good, but the Dolphins blew them out today. So they certainly deserve credit where credit's due. If you feel better about the Dolphins, you can get them right now on FanDuel to win over 5.5 games at plus 145. So juicy odds there to get the plus. And, we're about halfway through the season. They only got 2 wins. But, hey, like I said earlier, the Dolphins always find a way to win 7 or 8 games. So if you can get them at plus odds to win 6 games, maybe it's not a bad bet to take if you're feeling good at the moment. But that's all I got to say for this video. Make sure y'all leave your thoughts down in the comments below. The Heat game is tipping off in a little under 2 hours, so a full action-packed sports day today. I will have a post-game video out after the Heat versus Knicks games, so make sure y'all subscribe so you don't miss it. That being said, I appreciate all your support, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out, everyone.
Look, pull up in your city, tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. This homegrown bitch don't offend me.